Hey guys, hope everyone's doing good. I wanted to do this video today just because this was something that I felt was kind of important. Let me look at the camera. I have this like angled certain way, but I wanted to do this video just because there's so much stigma with the Jehovah's Witness community about 1975 and like 1925 and stuff like that. And the one thing they always say is that, oh, it's lies, it's apostate lies. And I remember a conversation that my husband actually had with my mom about, 1975 and all that stuff. And she basically said I was lying. And then she, kind of like backtracked a little bit. But anyways, so let's get to the point. So there was a watchtower, actually two watchtowers that I found. One is from 1994 and another one is from 1970. I'll get the definite reference and link them below, and I'll post the screenshots in the video as well. But so basically, like I said, this is about the 1925, 1970s and all that stuff. So the first watchtower that I wanted to bring up, it's the February 15th, 1994 watchtower, and this is on page 17, and I'm going to be looking at paragraphs starting at 4, so I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then I'll post the picture. Here are the neighbors. So paragraph 4, it says, let's see here, it says, when would that be fulfilled? So this is talking about the Great Tribulation, basically. And it says, when would that be fulfilled? All three gospel accounts mention what we might call celestial phenomenon, sun and moon. Let me skip down a little bit. It says, Jesus have in mind the tribulation that climaxed in 70 CE. I hate that word. Or was he speaking of the great tribulation that is still future in our modern times? Paragraph 5. It says, ever since the appointed times of the nations ended in 1914, God's people have been keenly interested in the Great Tribulation. Ooh. Not sure what that was. For years they thought that the modern day Great Tribulation had an opening part corresponding to the time of World War I, then an interrupting interval, which I think is kind of ridiculous, but it says then an interrupting interval, and finally a concluding part, the roar of the great day of God the Almighty. If that were so, what would occur during the intervening decades of the conclusion of the system of things? Paragraph 6. Well, it was felt that during this interval, the composite sign would be seen, including the preaching word done by God's gathered people. It seemed also that the foretold celestial phenomena could be expected during the interval after the opening phase in 1914 through 1918. Attention focused on literal things in the heavens, space probes, rockets, cosmic or gamma rays, and landings or bases on the moon. However, this is in paragraph 7. The Watchtower of January 15, 1970 re-examined Jesus' prophecy, especially the coming Great Tribulation. It showed that in view of what happened in the first century, the modern tribulation could not have an opening part in 1914-1918, a decades-long interval, and later a resumption. The magazine concluded, the Great Tribulation, such as will not occur again, is yet ahead, for means the destruction of the world empire of false religion, including Christendom, followed by the war of the great day of God the Almighty, or Armageddon. So this is, going to give us a little bit of a background. Sorry about that. That's the neighbors, I guess, beeping. I'm not sure what that was about, but basically, like I said, this is going to give us a little bit of an idea. So what I did was I went back to the watchtower that was noted in paragraph 7, the January 15th, 1970, and let's check that out and see what that says. So this is the January 15th, 1970 watchtower on page 52. We're going to start at paragraph 9. It says, on account of his chosen ones, he cut shorts to days. How? Back in the year 1925, I want you guys to pay attention. It says, back in the year 1925, the suggestion was set out in the leading article of the Watchtower, issue of May 1st, entitled For the Elect's Sake, that those days of the Great Tribulation were cut short in the middle. The explanation was given that the Great Tribulation had begun in 1914 CE, and that if it was not allowed to run its full course then, but God stopped World War I in November of 1918. From then on, God was allowing an interval for the activity of his anointed remnant of elect Christians before he let out the final part of the Great Tribulation, resume at the Battle of Armageddon, and come to its termination. This would allow for sheep-like persons to be saved. Paragraph, what is this? Paragraph 10. This explanation sounded good and reasonable back there in 1925, just 7 years after World War I and 14 years before the unexpected World War II. A conflict 4 times as bad as World War I. But even World War II did not merge into the war of the great day of God the Almighty at Armageddon, as some had expected it to do. Here we are, 24 years after World War II closed in 1945, and a portion of the anointed remnant of elect ones are still here, and the war at Armageddon is still ahead, although getting very close now. Back in 1925, the Bible timetable, as set out in the book The Time is at Hand, published in the year 1889, was still thought to be correct. Hence, it was not calculated that 6,000 years of man's life on earth were yet to end during the 1970s. Of course, the old timetable for scheduling the events of the Bible and fulfillment of prophecies affected the understanding of matters by the international Bible students, but now chronology has been re-examined. So I'm going to stop here. There's a little bit more in this, in this Watchtower, but the point that I'm trying to make out by doing this video is the fact that so many witnesses say that, okay, 1925, that was a lie. They didn't say that. 1914, 1970, etc., etc. But the fact of the matter is that Jehovah's Witnesses, your publications even admit to the false prophecies. And I want you guys to keep in mind that this is your foundation. You know, we're always taught that the origins of, holidays and, that kind of stuff is pagan, basically, and we have to be careful of these origins, right? So why don't we apply the same logic and understanding with the origins of the Watchtower? This is really something to pay attention to. Like I said, you have January 15, 1970, they're admitting to the information being put out on 1925, and even 1889 they even mentioned that. So why is it that, so I'm like shivering a little bit, it's getting chilly outside, but why is it that they say now, okay, well, we never said that, and it's, again, the governing body, guys, like, I know you watch these videos, like, seriously make up your mind, okay? This is like the craziest thing, and when I saw it, it's just like, wow, okay, so like it really did happen, but I honestly don't know what to say. The fact that it says back in 1925, the Bible timetable set out in the book The Time is at Hand, published in the year 1889, was still thought to be correct. And then it says, hence, it was not calculated that 6,000 years of man's life on earth were yet to end during the 1970s. So even with this sentence, this is from 1970, they're still pointing to 1975. And then actually, in paragraph 11 in the same Watchtower, it says, this is speaking about the memorial and, and how many people partook and all that, and the last sentence in here, it says, a number of these, speaking about the ones at the memorial, should survive still longer to see and go through the war of Armageddon in harmony with Jesus' words. And then it says in paragraph 12, says, when you see all these things, know that he is near at the doors. Truly I say to you that just this generation will by no means pass away until all these things occur, etc., etc. You guys know what I'm talking about. So, like I said, the fact of the matter is that, this Watchtower organization, they have made false prophecies, and it's like, guys, like, you guys got to wake up. This is not good at all. And the fact that even in the, it was like 1914 or something like that, these people, they would have sold their homes then too. They would have not had children. They would have, not gone to college or anything like that. They would have missed out on just basic life events that every person is supposed to go through. But the fact that they put all of these things off just to focus on this religion, 1914 came and went, 1925 came and went, 1975 came and went, and you would think at some point they would get the idea and something that I was always told growing up is the fact that, you know, if you tell a lie, basically, or, you know, just fess up, basically, tell the truth, you know, and then correct it, you know, the punishment, there's still going to be a punishment, but it won't be as severe because you told the truth, basically, you came out. And so what I don't understand is that why the men, governing body, continue to tell these people that it didn't happen. You know, they never said these things, right? Just a question for you guys. Why do you guys think that, you know, you can't find publications prior to like 2000? You know, this is really something to think about. There's a reason why they tell you to throw out old literature, and this is why, because you're going to find these, you know, little tidbits here and there. So this is just something that I wanted to, you know, bring to you guys' attention. And like I said, I'll post the references in the description box below, and I will make sure I post the images of the Watchtower that I have. So, all right, hope you guys have a good evening. See you soon. Bye.